Okay. Yes. Getting ready to start in the stream. I'm hoping that this is sounding clear. Okay, it's a little bit of a delay here in getting this going. We're setting our lives. Didn't get much prep. But we're going to talk about gaming addiction and AI a little bit. Okay. Okay, God bless everyone. So yes, so now this is Frank. Mars and Moral Politics. This is the version of the Saturday Night Lives, right? You got Saturday Night Live, but these are the real Saturday Night Lives. So part of the Moral Politics includes us, having sometimes we have a speaker every now and then. Sometimes it's me. I'm going solo. I'm going solo tonight, and I get a chance to prep with someone else. But wanted to keep going and making sure that we are having some consistency, with this studio. Complicated little thing here, you know. Definitely did a little different setup with the three different cameras. That one, this one over here, and look what we were able to do. Just gonna show this off a little bit. Just gonna show this off for a second here. In this third camera, in the third camera, which is this one right over here, it's able to kind of put it on a motion. That way it's able to slide. Camera is able to slide. You got the water bottle right over here, right in the way. But it's able to, I'm able to kind of do it either manually or automatic. Let me know what you think. But that's the idea. The idea is to be able to do something unique in this studio, and that will be on and off. Kind of will turn that on and off. But basically, if you look at the actual beginning of this thing, right? The AI, um, how gaming, and this is something different with this because part of it was supposed to have another section. It said skipping dinner tonight initially. Gaming addiction, how AI is getting us used to abnormal things. Gaming addiction, how AI is getting us used to abnormal things. But again, one of the things that I did initially put but came off was the question of missing dinner. And did not keep it there. I should have kept it there. Somehow it came off. But the idea and what is the link with gaming addiction and missing dinner? Those of you that have uh, teenagers, male or female, mostly males, mostly young men. There's a lot of young ladies too that are getting hooked on gaming, gaming culture. It's a whole different culture, whole different lifestyle. And it's catching on, it's caught on in such a way that it is just um, catching on in such a way that is unstoppable, right? Completely unstoppable. Part of the reason why I put the studio together, right? This studio is four in one. It's a podcast studio. Built a computer around it because the software kept crashing. That was one of my bucket listing to know how to build a computer. Was able to pull it off. It has other parts, other studios that I don't really use as much. The second one is used by one of my sons, especially. It is a gaming studio. Computer's able to handle that. It's also a video um, editing studio, and it's also a music studio. So I'm able to kind of switch it. So it's four in one, Franken Studio, you know. And with the reason why it's a Franken Studio is a mix match, and you can see four in one. It has mismatch cameras, mismatch this, mismatch that. These two cameras match. This one here and this one here. It's a couple really more cameras, and then this one is a Sony. The other two are Panasonics. But you see the technological thing. I was able to kind of now I'm kind of a little hooked a little bit to the technology and the little projects that I'm doing technologically. But gaming, it is a thing, and it has led to so many times where our sons have missed dinner with us. And this is why I ask if you have a teenager, boy or girl, how much are they missing dinner? Because I remember the video game era back in the days. I don't know if you guys remember this, where you bought the cartridge and you had to blow the cartridge, especially those Nintendo games. You had to blow it because it would act up. I remember I used to play with my brother in law. He's in Puerto Rico now. Boy, that boy was a solo. So one time he took the whole Nintendo game system. I beat him in Techno Ball, which was a kind of a Madden game. He threw the whole darn Nintendo out the window. That was all his savings from his job. He got so mad, such a sore loser. And I wasn't even too much of a gamer. I never really was crazy about. What I didn't like about gaming was that it had the emotional energy and rush, the competition. It would just kind of lead to a little stress, and I felt the stress in such a way that I was like, I don't really want to do this. I'm not having fun. Almost like roller coasters for me. Roller coasters, I'm going up and all that, and I'm like, what am I getting out of this? So I never really liked this. So I like the wimpy rides, like the bumper cars and stuff like that. But the thing with gaming, it used to be the cartridges, then it went to the CDs, right? Um, but you were playing with a person in the same room for the most part. Then you also played the computer. Now you have a culture where you're playing with somebody that's somewhere else. It could be a different time zone, but most people, a lot of it is in the same time zone. But because you're playing someone else somewhere else that maybe does not have a tradition of sitting down around a table, you're missing opportunity. You're missing the opportunity to have um, dinner with your family. Many times, my wife, I remember when it was getting there, it was like, we had to tell them ahead of time to, hey, not play the next game because somebody else is in another city, somewhere in another part of the country, or the same state, but that family already had a culture that they ate different. They had different hours. Parents probably weren't there. Or the young person or 45-year-old in their parents' basement is there already completely disconnected from family. And that tradition of sitting around a table faded away because of gaming. And again, now you have, right, that's the gaming culture, which has really become addictive. And you look at some of the addiction. I remember seeing this video. It's kind of funny, but also sad, where a father took the game system of his son, who was really fully addicted, and of course he crushed with a lawnmower or something the games, and the guy was having a fit. And then you could go to YouTube and you could go to Facebook, and maybe you could see some young teenager or older teenager or young adult having a fit when the game system they either lost the game or the game system was tampered with. it almost does qualify, and it does qualify as a drug, literally. I see even, my sons, so much time they put in, the anger when they lose a game with somebody else that's not even in the area. Who blames who for not passing who the ball on 2K basketball or whatever K they're up to? Who did not cover who on Black Ops or some of these war shooting games? The arguments, and even you follow the streamers, and the streamers themselves, it's just screaming in within the game culture now. Those are the streamers. They have to be louder, curse, and they're on apps like Twitch that they could just do it. And so what it's doing, what gaming has done, it really has removed a lot of not only the family time but also the skills for young men, especially to develop. It used to be that they would be out there, would go out there, throw the ball. I remember those days. We used to throw the ball. My sons were more willing. Then they got hooked into it. Forget about going outside and throwing the ball. They have to play a game with some dude somewhere else that doesn't have a job. So that part about having time, ball, to go play basketball, to go to the park, to go camping. Forget about going camping because it's no game. Actually, there's times we've gone places and they have to bring the game system. Go to a hotel and they have to drag the darn game system along. So gaming has become so ingrained in the culture, in our family, in the culture. I was thinking of taking up gaming myself. I was thinking of getting a gaming name like Ostogi or something like that, you know. But anyway, um, not really. I don't have the time for that. But you know, what is happening also with gaming with the technology is become more and more intelligent, and also there's other things, right, with AI now, right, with AI or artificial intelligence. One of the things with artificial intelligence that is happening is that there are even pictures and images of creatures, right, and things that are being fantasy, just like old fashioned film work, old fashioned photography is beginning to disappear because even people that made a living out of photography, they're beginning to feel a certain way because you know the AI is doing so much to take away the skill and the talent. Technology is going to change. It's going to change, and we have to evolve with some of it. But it's also removing some of the skills from people. I heard of Tyler Perry. I think was making a studio. I don't know, $100 million or something like that. Then we heard about the AI video tool. I heard. I don't know if this is true, but cancel the construction because now you don't need a massive big studio. Now with AI, you could do all this video work in a smaller space, and you need less people, less staff too. So imagine, oh boy, my hair is a bit of a mess here. I did I get to do my hair, but anyway, um, that's one of the things that's happening. AI is definitely getting us used to having less people. It's removing the creativity because it's doing a lot of the work. But even a lot of the images are really fake. And some of the images are beginning to have such a fantasy way of seeing things, the mixing of people and things, that is kind of making you think. It makes me think, like, what are they doing? Yes, Marvel comic books, Marvel movies, there's some mixture of machine and human, man and machine, right? Just reversing that. Man and animal, like Venom, right? Uh, hybrid. Oh, and you have to, of course, some kind of alien creature and mixture with human. And you have a lot of science in there, right? But and that triggers the imagination, and a lot of us have liked kind of do those, a lot of the Marvel and X-Men and all that stuff, and so But one of the things I think within the technology that is happening with AI, there's so much uh, that is happening in touching up images or even constructing images that are overkill. That you're thinking, okay, initially some of them you look at them and you're like, okay, is this real? But then just the other day I was looking at it, I said it became almost insulting and annoying to look at some of the images because I was thinking like, man, they're just too fake. And the creativity factor, the factor of missing creativity was a little concerning when I saw it. When I saw this, I just want to get an image here of one of the things that I really want to highlight and talk about here. Just to give an example of what I mean here, I'm just going through. Like AI images, hybrid animals. I'm going to share this now. So if you look at some of these hybrid animals that I'm about to share, the problem with YouTube now is that it's so much, I got to figure out a way to really end the commercial, the mixture, where it has commercials with so much interruption. But here's an image.
This is Animal Fight Night.
You see, here you have. And you see, like, so much of
It's
the
spring,
mixing.
and this grizzly is
of these
emerging from
images,
hibernation. And he's
that
bad
is a
news.
bit much. This is, we have a situation
A
here where
large
you
standing
have,
grizzly can top 8 feet tall and weigh in at around 1,500 pounds.
Actually, this was playing
Muscles
something
in-
else. This was playing the wrong image. Here it is. I'm so sorry about that, but here it is. So you see these creatures here. Like a dog mixed with a camel. Look at this nonsense. Like, what the heck is this? What is this? A fish, a darn goldfish mixed with a swan. You know? And if you look at these things, I mean, look how it started. It started with a zebra mixed with a gorilla or something like that. So again, you look at some of these images, and this is happening a lot on social media. You're not even asking for some of these things, and they're popping up, popping up, popping up. It's such a craze of what was happening here. All these hybrid images. Initially, when I saw some of it, it was not so bad. There were a lot of marine creatures and stuff like that. But it makes you think, is there something behind the bombardment, right? Of seeing all these images, so many of these images being projected, that people may be getting used to seeing these hybridized things in AI and stuff like that, right? So that it's almost becomes normal. So let's say some of these things do, or some not quite like this, but exist. It almost makes people wonder, is this really AI out of control, or people putting this out in such a way? And is it becoming something and this is something that could become so um, put in our minds that we get used to seeing these things, so that when you do, if something does manifest right in a certain way, you're like, oh, I've seen this before, and you could accept these weird things. There's a prophetic thing about the Euphrates River, the drying of a prophecy about the Euphrates, and some of the fallen angels that were chained up. The Bible does say that, and it said, this is thousands year prophecy about the Euphrates River drying up. One of the things that you do hear in the news is that there are times you could look it up and see that the Euphrates River is drying up. Actually, I am going to probably put some of that right now. It is drying up, and it's all over the news. Well, you don't really see it on the news as much as we should, but it is happening. I'm just gonna type that up to be able to look that up really quickly. But I'm just gonna put it so I could show a video and people could really see. And you could do your own research. The drying of the Euphrates River. Euphrates River. The thing is, I should have had this prepared earlier. Uh, Euphrates River drying up. You could look it up, and here it is. It's gonna be some images of the Euphrates River drying up, and some of the things that are happening. And these are prophetic things. These are not new. This is something that's been thousands of years prophesied, and there it is. This is showing you right there the drying of the Euphrates River. The Euphrates River, you got two rivers of Tigris from Euphrates River that are really the basket of civilization. Oh Lord, so much history with that. And some of the things that are happening with the drying of the Euphrates River is that they are even finding things that were submerged under the river. They're finding artifacts, some massive river. So of course it's going to lead to famine. That's going to lead to hunger in that part of the river, in that part of the world. But also what it what is leading to is also leading to the fulfillment of prophecy. And what how I started with images and AI and addiction to video games and us getting used to seeing images of hybrid creatures and things like that, right? um because there is a prophecy that says that some angels were tied in there on in the area of the Euphrates River. Now, symbolically, what could that mean? I'm not sure, right? We could there's a lot of debate about that. I could show a lot more about that and images about that. But I'm just trying to make the link about the advancement of technology, us getting used to seeing um, creatures that are mixed and AI playing a role, right? But also with that, us being uh, used to it, just getting used to it. And you could really see how society is changing because of technology. People are living in smaller families. Families, everybody kind of wants their own thing, right? People not interacting as much. There's way less jobs, right? People are gonna be losing jobs. Just recently, I've been hearing about stuff like that that's happening. Even the therapeutic, me as a social worker, folks at a social worker, even the counseling, in some ways, is going to change because people will be able to do some chat counseling. Right now, people can do counseling virtually. You could go to another state. You don't have to see the client face to face, right? These things are bringing a distance between humans, and let me say this: even humans living separately, right? Families breaking up at there used to be some traditions many years ago. People used to pack in apartments or houses, and they used to take their time before they left and ventured off, got married, and stuff like that. And when people, now it's beginning to happen that people getting together again because so many darn things are expensive now. Life has gotten more expensive. But before, people used to do it because life was less. It was expensive, but people had to draw within the unity of family so people can work together to survive together. But that brought families together. But with technology, there's less of a need of skill of somebody in that family to help you. Nowadays, you just go into your Amazon cart and you order whatever you need. You don't need somebody to help you with something that broke electronically. Instead of sending it to fix, you come order another one. The prices have been so much cheaper. You just go into Angie's List on the internet. You want something put on, you don't need someone to help you. Somebody that within the family, you call, somebody else comes in, done. So see, all of these things, there was the resource of family used to be together. Now people are separating more and more. And let me say this, even financially, saving money. Families break up. I mean, I even look at it within my family. Families used to get together and share. Some families still do it. Two, three floors, share a house, share the mortgage, and then we're kind of sharing the cost. Now people kind of a lot more. Everybody wants their own thing. Everybody separates. But everybody's separating, everybody's paying a different rent. Everybody's paying a different mortgage, and you're not really uh, drawing all the power together as a unit to get that mortgage out of the way quicker. So let's say $2,000 rent. You got three siblings that separate, right? Early, and then you're paying $2,000 times six. Here we go. So you're spending a lot more instead of sticking together. Of course, if it's a bigger family, I get it. But you get the point. Things have evolved, things have changed, and they're getting there. And a lot of this is electronics, a lot of it is artificial intelligence, a lot of it is technology, and a lot of it, all of these things make people more focused on themselves. Let's focus on the family unit and tradition. So traditions start to erode away, right? And we're getting used to separation, but we're getting used to things, right, that are not normal, that are really, really not normal. So, humankind, mankind, we were made to work together, live together. That's what we were made for. We were not made to be separate. And, but that is what's happening. People have kind of grown separate. Everybody's doing their own thing. So it's a whole different ball game as to how we are even saving money, how we're spending. Um, but I did want to bring this up, even though it's a very, kind of a little convoluted topic about people growing apart. Technology, the role technology is doing, how gaming addiction, and it's something. The reason why gaming addiction is a real issue is because those same young men and women that are being addicted to technology, they themselves are going to have less of a smaller family, less patience to even establish traditions in family that will be long standing, right? So everybody's doing their own thing, and traditions are eroding. So we have to make an effort. We all have to make an effort to definitely try as much as possible to keep some of these traditions, alive for us, within each family. Technology is definitely doing a number, and is going to continue. It is impossible to stop it, to be quite honest. I think the technology itself is impossible to stop the effects, but we can. Uh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at some of this thing in my stream here, just to make sure there's no boo boo here. It says error. More than one ingestion is using the primary URL. Someone stream the primary suggested. Okay, I'm not sure what that is with this. Okay, let me see. It says open the widget. I don't know what that is. Streaming status is poor. So I'm not sure what this means. I mean, it looks like I am streaming. I'm streaming on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. I'm gonna be adding a third, definitely a third thing. I'm not sure if this actually gave me. I'm looking now. I need to see. Did I go on a third YouTube? Maybe that's what it is. Oh, okay. I am on three. That's what it is. Now I see. Sorry to kind of interrupt, but I am on. Okay, now I see what happened. I'm on two YouTubes at the same time. So yeah. So that's what's happening. On YouTube twice. So this is kind of tethering on too. That's why it says the streaming status is poor. because it's on two. Again, I'm kind of learning how to do this a little better. But I hope, those that are watching, I hope you were able to understand, what I'm saying about technology and AI and these crazy hybrid creatures, right? Some of it is extremely annoying. Initially, I was like, oh, this is cool. It's not cool, anymore, because I see it's almost like a mockery. I'm going through some of these things. So I wanted to show the other AI thing, but I think you get the point, you know. But again, the hybridization of these mixed creatures, land, sea animals. There was one video I didn't get to put together, but it had a lot of sea creatures, and that's the ones that started to really annoy me. And if you saw some of this that I showed earlier, that was really, really, really ridiculous. But again, there is this prophecy, which we could do a whole talk really just about the drying up of the Euphrates. You could look it up. It's in Turkey, right? Part of Turkey. And, I'm going to let this play a little bit more. See, and it keeps going. And you see all these boats. Look at it is a crisis. And this is part of a prophecy. This is a prophetic occurrence that we are living in during this time. And what I'm trying to do is bring together how technology, how we're getting used to seeing these weird creatures, but also that prophetic drying up of that prophecy of drying up of the Euphrates. There is some thought that, hey, maybe some weird stuff may come out of there. Now, there's also in New Jersey. I don't know if let me just put this another side, just on a side note. New Jersey has been on the news about these drones flying, and it is so dumb. I think how we deal with things here, and people all over the news and not dealing with that. At night, you got a lot of drones flying around, and some concern is it could it be some foreign government that's spying on us? The answer is could be yes. And some of them look odd. They look like one of them looked like a plane. They look like weird. But they were not small. They were a little big. But it's kind of odd how these things are happening. And even if it's a nothing or drone, but just the liberty of, they say, oh, it could be a hobbyist, but it's been on the news scaring people. But what I'm saying, even if it's like that, what if in the future these things, which I did show a video about technology, drones being used against humans, right? We already see the Chinese military itself has been making these military drones. We have been shipping military drones for Ukraine to use against Russia, and that's one of the problems we're having with Russia now. The use of drones that could deploy explosives. You got the movie I Am Robot. This is gonna be another program we're gonna put together with that. How robots, and I think I did show a video before in one of the lives that I have with my brother too, and how this technology can turn on us, right? We're not far fetched. There's some there's some research out there, and the fact is that whatever we see technologically now, we're actually seeing things that were 5-10 years before. So what we're seeing now has been used by governments 5-10 years before. And so imagine what we don't see. Just imagine what we don't see. That's technology, but the hybridization of technology and human. That in itself is a whole different ballgame. So what it'll bring to this to light, and again, I do want to share a little bit more of the video here. There we go. The Euphrates, and look how serious it has gotten. Boats that have no water to float. I don't agree with this is always put as climate change, climate change, climate change, right? Is there is some climate change before it was global warming, now they call it climate change, right? A lot of this stuff is also happening because there are things with construction, right? The overuse of sand, of river sand, making of dams, right? And also when there's shifts, tectonic shifts, right, in the earth, that's causing the loss of water as well. So, yes, there is pollution in some climate change, but there's also other activities that governments are doing and companies are doing. And let me say one other thing, some of this is prophetic because knowing that mankind, men will have the tendency of trying to do things without God. And these are some of the consequences that are going to happen. That's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. So I'm just going to keep playing this a little bit more. So we can. Yeah, many thinking it's the end of the world. It is one of the biblical signs of the apocalypse. And as it says, in the video, this is pretty good video. That it was thought that the Garden of Eden was in that area between the Tigris and Euphrates River. Incredible. I remember when I was a kid in the Dominican Republic, there was a lake. I'll never forget. There was actually a lake that was drying up. They built a dam. I remember they were building a dam, came here. Something happened, but I don't really know how much it was connected. All I know was that the lake, there was no big explanation why the lake was drying up. And I remember people were just catching fish that were massive like this with machetes grabbing them. I remember being there, people getting massive fish. It was just drying up the river. Now, that was not a global warming issue, climate change issue. That was way back in the 60s, right? And I was little. I was or early 70s before coming to the United States. Sometimes you see some things are going to dry up because of shifts in the earth. Could have been some construction project and stuff like that. There are times that those things do happen. You got, for instance, there's people that have had houses with wells. I knew someone that had to build a well again because the water table changed, right? So there are these things that are in the earth that are shifting. Things are gonna shift. There are things even that governments are doing underneath the earth, building many things underneath the earth. Sometimes they're detonating explosive bombs, testing them in the earth. These things are going to cause issues in the earth. So I want to, keep going with this. Massive concern. Look at that. Boats in the middle of nowhere. Forget about agriculture. Forget about agriculture. Forget about all of that. The cradle of civilization changing, completely changing. And I got to say that this is not just in isolation. Technology plays a role in this. AI. I started this whole thing by looking at it from a gaming addiction and how that addiction, technological addiction, the phones, I have the phone right here, monitoring the live right here. I hope the sound is good. But this is real. All of this is going to play a role, and it is playing a role already in how we interact as humans. This is playing a major role towards the end times. Not trying to scare anybody, but if you do think that these things are 2,000 or almost 3,000 year old prophecies are a game, um, maybe that's on you. But the reality is that there's no way that some of these things, are don't have any kind of credibility. Yes, they do. Um, that's me being an atheist from back in the days. And then when you look at the evidence of the Bible and really look at how things have developed over time and how it actually even there's even a prophecy about no one will be able to buy nor sell without the mark of the beast. What is the mark? We don't know exactly, but right now, moving towards electronic currency, right? There's been marks that have been used in the past. But even using electronic currency, that could be shut down just like that, quickly. So these are just some things to share and how AI and technology can really play a role in the demise of families and us getting used to accepting things that are really abnormal. Wanted to really put that live out, this live tonight. Be brief. Actually, not as brief as I would have liked. But God bless you all. Have a good night. Part of we have the Saturday Night Lives, the real Saturday Night Lives. And of course, during the week, I do the real morning drives through Facebook. Hopefully that changes in the future. Maybe to kind of do it through probably YouTube Live. But trying to get just being launched and kind of do maybe some shorts to be able to get subscribers there. But the channel is More Politics. More Politics. That's the channel to follow on YouTube. That is, and definitely on my personal page on Facebook for now. And we're gonna definitely, as this picks up, move to other things. But let me know what you think. God bless you all. May the Lord bless you, guide you. Hallelujah. Let me see. I'm trying to get out of this thing now. And I hope this was insightful. Questions you have, let me know. Yep. Yep. Okay. Yep. Here we go. Compliments are homeschooling. My son put that beat together. Pretty nice. And it's gonna pick up again.